Tucked away between Interstate 280 and the Santa Cruz Mountains lies the Pulgas Water Temple. The Greco-Roman-inspired temple was built in 1934 as a monument to, well, water. A Bible verse is carved along the temple's rotunda, Isaiah 43:20. I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. But on the peninsula, flanked by water on three sides, why was the temple built here of all places? For a hint, take a look just behind the temple. This aqueduct carries water 176 miles, driven entirely by gravity from Hetchy Reservoir in the Sierras to Crystal Springs Reservoir in the Bay Area. This infrastructure makes up the Hetchy water system, which supplies water to much of the Bay Area, including San Francisco and the peninsula. The need for a larger and more reliable water supply in the Bay Area was made clear after San Francisco was destroyed in the Great Fire of 1906. With the fire still fresh in the mind of civic leaders and the public, widespread calls for an improved water supply led to the approval of the Hetchy system in 1913. The project was completed by 1934, securing a much more reliable water supply for the Bay Area than the region had prior. The temple was built at the termination of the aqueduct to celebrate the completion of this massive public works project. But, in the 80-plus years since its completion, a lot has changed in the Bay Area. The region's population has quadrupled in the time since Hetchy's completion, and consistent drought has left the snowpack we rely on for water lower than ever. What's more, we waste a lot of water. Nicole Sankala of the Bay Area Water Conservation Agency explained what kind of steps households can take to reduce water usage during the drought.
So a lot of the indoor measures are things that everybody's become very comfortable with, but moving to your landscaping, that's a wide opportunity to really change how you use water. So, removing part of your grass and planting it with drought-tolerant natives, drip irrigation, things that don't have to make it a hardscape. It doesn't have to look like the painted green concrete. It looks beautiful and lush, but it uses less water. The other thing is gray water use. It's an idea that's taking on some life. So it's using water from inside your home, from your showers, your washers, your sinks, that you can use to irrigate outside. If we end up in an extended drought, that may be one of those technologies that grows. So some of the things that we always thought were going to be available even in a drought are being questioned.
We can't forget, though it may often appear abundant, water is a precious and limited resource. And maybe the temple isn't as overly grandiose as it might appear. Our water on the peninsula is sacred and scarce, and though we have gone to great lengths to ensure its abundance, we must not forget that it is still never entirely guaranteed, which is something the Pulgas Water Temple exists to help us remember.